Hey, it's Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, cover the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. And today, the Cam Watch continues. But before we get into the Cam Watch, let's first go over the latest transactions since I've last spoke with you guys on Monday. I have a few. One is the kicker, Joseph Charlton, who was on the injured reserve. Once he got off the injured reserve, unfortunately, we have released him. But fortunately for the Carolina Panthers as a team, Lachlan Eckworth has been doing a wonderful job filling in this punter. So we're going to continue to roll with him. Also, some other transactions that have taken place was guard John Miller and defensive end Daryl Johnson. Both of these guys today were designated to return from injured reserve, which means the clock begins to have 21 days to be back on the field. If they're not able to be active during those 21 days, they would be placed on season-ending IR. So let's go ahead and go into the injury report, which fortunately today is a short one. We have defensive end Marquise Haynes, who did not practice today with a foot injury. We had one limited in practice, that was linebacker Frankie Luvo, which, Frankie, I want to talk to you, so just know it's coming soon. He was, again, I don't know if I already said this, he's limited in practice with a shoulder. And then we had a few full participants, and Rashawn Melvin and Stanley Thomas Aller, some guys who had been recently dealing with some injuries. So before I go into this week's matchup and what Coach Matt Rule talked about today, I want to talk about last week versus the Arizona Cardinals, in which our running backs, they had so many targets. And, I mean, they're good, they're talented. So I just wondered if that was part of the game plan, or did they not want to throw it deep? Was it trying to protect P.J. Walker? And also wondering about, hey, you got good guys like Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore. Do you want to make sure that you're feeding them so that they stay in tune? But I'm not worried, because most of these guys, as long as we're winning, we can deal with those lack of touches. I know Robbie Anderson said that, but Matt Rule spoke about that today and saying that it was game plan specific, all right, and that they felt with the matchup that they had with the Arizona Cardinals, their running backs coming out and being faced with their linebackers was a good matchup, and it would be a matchup that they could get often because of the fact that they have a five-man rush. It's something that was successful early in the year for them against the likes of the Saints and the Patriots, and it worked out well. Running backs had 14 targets, and Christian McCaffrey was 10 to 10. And Amir's also, he mentioned, becoming a standout running back, catching the ball out of the backfield, and that worked out pretty well for them as well. So let's talk about the Cam Newton watch. What is going to happen? Is he going to start? Well, we expected him to meet with the media today, and let me tell you, it was a full packed house. Even the NFL Network has been here, haven't been here much all season. That's the Cam Newton effect. But Cam Newton is not knowing if he's going to start this week, but he said things are trending that way for Cam to start this Sunday. And what about the balance? Would be a lot of P.J. Walker along with Cam, because Cam has not got the full playbook yet. And Coach said, well, it's not so much about Cam needing to get the full playbook. That's something that starts in training camp and OTAs, and Cam hasn't been a part of that. And though he's a veteran, very smart guy, they're not trying to put the entire playbook on Cam. They're just trying to put the current week's game plan in effect. And it says that he feels good about that. Today was more like first down, second down. They're just going to continue to monitor that during the week. I do think that I know I want to see P.J. Walker. I want to see that balance, and I think it would be a good thing for the team to have P.J. Walker in for some scenarios where they haven't yet got Cam Newton up to speed with everything. And what about specialized plays and taking advantage of Cam Newton's running abilities? Well, I didn't get a chance to ask Coach this specifically, but I don't think game planning, they have to go over too much about the quarterback running. I think that's something that you can more easily put in. I think the pass plays where you have protection, which way are guys going and pulling, that Cam needs to know about, that are more difficult to put in. So that's the latest on the Cam Newton watch. And then, hey, fans, you got to be excited. You know, Ron Rivera is going to be back in the building. Marty Hurney, and you just wonder about that matchup. And does Ron Rivera know a few things about Cam Newton that could give them an advantage? You know, probably so. He worked with the guy so long for I don't know how many seasons, so I was about to say that, but I don't want to be incorrect. They did face each other when Cam was playing with New England earlier this year in the preseason. This would be their first regular season matchup. It should be fun. I expect to see those guys exchange some pleasantries pregame. But it's not basketball. It's not a one-on-one sport. So I feel like there's things every week. This is the NFL, where you have coaches that have been on another team. You have players that have been on another team. It still comes down to flat-out execution most of the time. And as long as we don't get away from what Matt Rules talked about several weeks ago, and that we want to be a run-centered team, I want to have 34, 35, 36 runs. It doesn't matter how much Ron knows about Cam, because he's not going to be out there personally trying to tackle him. And even though you know that Cam Newton may be running the ball, I forgot about this myself until I saw it again this weekend. Cam is a huge, big guy. If I'm a cornerback and Cam's coming at me, it doesn't matter that I know he's coming at me. It's, can I execute the tackle? Can I get the proper angle? And that's what has made Cam Newton such a special talent all these years so far in the NFL. And I got to end talking about my man, Zane Gonzalez. I meant to talk about this at the top of the show. Please, if you have not done so, I don't care if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, go over to my Twitter. There's a link there. How can you not support me in getting Zane Gonzalez at least 1,000 followers on Twitter, okay? This guy has been two-time NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. This is wonderful after the start that we had with our place kickers not making it, Joey Sly missing. And I talked to Coach Rule about Zane Gonzalez, and I'm just going to play it for you right here.
I think Zane has been at a point now where it's like, I can put a guy out there to kick a 52-yarder without thinking a lot about it. If you go back to the first game of the year, I think I punted from the 32 or 33-yard line, right? So did whatever it took to pin the defense down, and now I can kick that ball. So it just gives me way more flexibility. People talk a lot about going for on fourth down and game management decisions. They put a lot of analytics and probabilities up, and all those are based off of the median team in the National Football League. And if you have a team that can get that yard, you go for it. If you have a team that you don't think you can get that yard, you probably shouldn't go for it. And if you think you can make that kick, then you kick it. And so for me, the decision-making matrix has gotten way easier, because I'm like, shoot, let's kick it. I feel good about his chances of making pretty much every kick. And more importantly, I love his demeanor. If he misses a kick, I'm not worried, is this going to put him in the tank? And the things he's done kicking off. I mean, early in the year, we first got him, the ball was being kicked to the 5, and, they were turning the ball back on us, right? Now the ball's through the end zone pretty much every time, unless we deem, hey, let's kick it. Even after that penalty the other day, he kicked the ball from the 20, and we got the ball all the way down there and tackled him at the 30. So he's done a really nice job. And to your point, I think he's had, this year, 3 holders. I think that's what it's been, right? Lachlan has really, done a nice job coming in there and learning our system, punting and holding for us. So I think Chase, Ed Foley, Mike Cyphers, they've been kind of dealt some interesting things that have happened, and different things, and having to bring guys in. But they've coached the guys, and that's what a coach's job is. It's not to figure out the personnel; it's to coach the guys. They've coached the guys, and I think Zane's excellent. And as I told him on the field, everyone was hugging him because he got NFC Player of the Week. I said everybody loves a kicker as long as he makes his kicks. So Zane, that's what's great about Zane, man. He's a football guy. He's not just a specialist. He's part of the team, and he's done a nice job.
So you see, Zane, he's making things easier for Coach Rule. So join me, follow Zane on Twitter. Links are below. And I believe that are all my notes. That was some bad English. Those are all my notes for today. Cam Newton will be speaking with the media tomorrow. So as always, hit that like button for me. Hit the subscribe button. It helps me to get interviews like I've been giving to you guys week after week. We'll continue to do so as long as I continue to have your support. The bigger I grow, the more I can do for you guys. And I love working for you. Love the nickname Man of the People, all right? It's Chris Jenkins reporting from Bank of America Stadium for Charlotte Vibe.